We are on.
We're live.
We're live and alone.
Live and alone. That's the name of my first album. Live and alone. Just me in my office playing by myself. Hey.
There we go.
Oh, goodness.
So
okay.
nervous. There was like none for like 30 seconds.
Yeah. 0 to 15. Hey. Good to have you guys. Thanks for showing up. Yes. Doing an impromptu live. Because we know if we release an episode on Wednesday, it's Christmas Day. And I don't know if that's better or worse. Do we know?
I don't know. It depends how much people like their families, you know?
Yes, of course. So good to see all the usual offenders are here.
Oh, yes.
Hey, that's Lucas. Right. Okay, good. Good to see you guys. Welcome to It's Just Bodybuilding. I'm Big Ron Partlow. Of course, we've got Dusty Hanshaw and the producer, Scott McNally. Remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, and
ring the bell.
Yes. And of course, IamMutant.com. Go to IamMutant.com. Use the code Dusty or Big Ron. Order your shit. Everyone should get the ISO Surge all in. And everyone needs to be on the gear. So get your gear. Okay. What's going on? Oh, Scott has a stray wife walking through the picture.
We're in her domain here in Canada. There she is.
Yeah.
All Scott's of Canada is your domain
right now. Yeah, there we go. You're an honorary Canadian, Scott.
I thank you. I appreciate that. Some people ask me, they think I'm from Canada just because we talk about Canada. I visit a lot, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're Canadian, right?"
You know, well, you're very nice, but the guns.
Maybe that's it.
The dead giveaway that you're.
Yeah. He's very nice with his guns. He's also very nice with the guns. He'll let you borrow them.
Yeah, the bullets.
Right. You can come next door and borrow some guns.
Anytime you want.
Okay, what's going on, guys? We're a few days out from Christmas. Are you like Dusty? Are you sitting completely finished everything and you're just waiting for Christmas, or do you feel like a looming sense of panic like I do?
It's all wrapped under the tree. Mission accomplished. I had everything bought in November.
Oh yeah, I'm way off that.
Well, Dusty, Ron.
Yes.
When he says he had everything bought in November, he did not do anything.
I know.
So keep that in mind.
I wasn't gonna
not even a little bit
for that one. I know.
I actually gave my portion of the money, and that was the end of my hunting.
His professional organizer had a lot of that.
I did bring the tree out of the attic, and that was the end of my decorating as well.
I put the tree up.
I just brought it down and threw it on the floor.
I'm really hoping that when I go downstairs to the mailroom in my condo, a bunch of mail has arrived because I ordered a lot of stuff. It's got to come. Yes, that's where I'm at. And I have a trip to the mall scheduled today for when we're done this podcast.
Wow,
that's a
risky move. Man. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all right with it. I'm going to stop at the food court and get a meal if it gets too hectic for me. I've got something planned.
A little food break.
Yeah.
I like it.
Game plan. Small town here in Ontario. Like this is like small town Letterkenny style small town.
Where are you?
We're in St. Mary's, Ontario.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a very small town next to Stratford, which is still it's a big town compared to St. Mary's, but in the scheme of things, it's a very small town too.
Get a bottle of maple syrup and a bottle of whiskey. You're set for Christmas.
Everything is going to be closed for Christmas here. You know, like in the U.S., everything stays open. It's going to be a ghost town in St. Mary's. But I just went to the grocery store to pick up a couple little odds and ends, and although the parking lot was like half full, it was still like I didn't have to wait in line. I just walked right up to the register. I like this small town living. It's kind of cool.
You can work.
Yeah. Small Canadian town, especially out east.
Yeah.
You get like those old school British hours during holidays.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. I came down. I went to the gym here, the YMCA, Sunday. Drive through downtown, and it was a ghost town. Everything was closed Sunday. not a single person walking. Nothing. Well, first of all, it's like 20 below, so there's that. But second of all, like none of the stores are open. It's nice.
Yeah,
Quaint.
it's crazy. Yeah, I know.
They're driving
They're recovering.
shit.
They're all recovering from their hangovers.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed
Small
here
town.
when things close early, like 10 p.m. I'm like, what if I need something at 2 a.m.? What do you mean you're close?
Yeah.
I'm not used to this small town stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We got Dr. Marv with us.
Yeah, Dr. Marv. I got your email,
Yes.
by the way, buddy. It was in another folder, but I found it.
We're getting some questions in, so I'll let you guys know as I see the questions coming in. I'm favoriting them so that I can go back, and when we start knocking through listener questions, which we are going to do today, we'll start with those. So
Load
keep
us
loading
up. Load us up.
Yeah.
So what are we starting with first, though? We had a plan, I thought, for once.
We have two things. What do you guys want to do? We've got two. We have tips from a chef on making 2025 meal prep not suck, and we have what was that other thing, Dusty? We had a new division. Do I hear?
Oh yes, the new division of 2025 in the women's department of the show. I think with Ron's sigh, we're gonna lean right into that one.
Did we trigger
Because
him this early?
Ron's already. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even trying yet. I'm just getting warmed up over here. So Ron, tell me how excited you are because I can feel it.
You remember, competing is for everyone,
So is winning.
right? Competing is for everyone. Be a division for everyone. We want to see everybody up on that stage, right?
That's apparently the thing. Now, Scott, did you happen to have the little pull-ups? So for those who don't know, we can kind of give them some guidance of what we're babbling about real quick.
I do. I believe this is it right here. Let's see if I can get the sound on.
Here, NPC and IFBB Pro League Vice President, and I have some very exciting news to share with everybody today. So, starting in 2025, the NPC and NPC Worldwide is going to be adding a new division. This division will be called the Fit Model Division. Now, what is the purpose of this division and what are we looking for? So the purpose of this division is to really create the most entry-level division on our women's side of the sport. Basically, we want to go back for this division. We want the peak look to be what Ashley Kaltwasser looked like when she won the Olympia in 2015. We'll put up the pictures here as guidance as well. So what we're looking for in this division is obviously less muscle and less development than you would see in the bikini division. Basically, you still need a small amount of muscle that gives nice shape. We're going to be looking for balance between the upper and the lower body, but the conditioning will be less than bikini. We don't want to see even really a slight separation anywhere in the physique. We don't want to see roundness and capped delts. We don't want to see etched in midsections from the front. From the back, we're looking for full glutes with no visible tie-in area, okay? But the glutes should still be firm when doing the model walk to the back of the stage. So we still want to see firm glutes and some glute development, but not
You can zip him up now.
With
we'll discuss.
obviously, top level.
Yeah.
We got it.
I like
So-
Tyler, but I don't need to listen to the whole thing.
Here's my take on this though. I'm fine. Like I'm a business guy. I get it. Let's make more money. If I was the Manions, I too would be very excited for this new division. Not for the division, but for the money. My problem as an athlete with it is, so you had figure years ago, and you were like, this is for less than bodybuilding. We don't want you so muscular. We don't want you so lean. We don't want so much conditioning. And then you started rewarding girls who were bigger and harder and leaner and on and on and on. So the division started to morph. And then you said, crap. We gotta create a division that's less than that. So we'll do bikini. And now you've let that division morph. And wait, bodybuilding, it started off, look back at Rachel McGlish and what those girls look like and what it has become. You let it grow out of control, and you're like, crap, we got to bring in women's physique. And now that's like, the thing that drives me crazy is if you want these divisions to stop changing, then reward what you said you wanted in the beginning. Because it's going to be 6 years from now when this division isn't entry level anymore, and we need another division because they're like, crap, we've let that model division become what figure used to be instead of what bikini used to be. And I also have to laugh real quick at the line that he said, this is the most entry level division we have. And the look we're going for is when Ashley Kaltwalzer won the Olympia
in 2015.
2015.
Yeah, that doesn't like scream entry level to me, but to each their own. But before we let bikini get away from us, like we have every division. So, that's a tricky part to me when you're looking at that, because you're going, well, the only reason it changes is because you guys rewarded that. Like if the top 5 girls all got bigger and harder for next year's Olympia and you didn't want that to happen and you just didn't put them in the top 5, you said you got too big and too lean, then people would stay in. But as they keep adjusting and moving in, it goes up. And I understand from the standpoint also is who wants to do something where your goal is to stay the same? I mean, that's what they did to Drea. They said, don't change anything. And then they let someone beat her. And she's like, I didn't change anything.
Yeah.
All right, then I'll change shit. And then she won again. So what do you guys think?
Yeah. Well, I just think that we have to recognize that at some point there has to be a limit to how many divisions we have room for, because I'm part of a promotional team that runs shows. I mean, we promote shows, and these shows are huge, massive tasks to promote because of all the divisions.
Yeah.
And adding yet another division, we're like, oh, geez, okay, so that's another, $1,000 worth of trophies, and that's another, you know what I mean? Like that's another, 30 minutes of the time schedule, and that's, you know what I mean? That's just another division, and I mean, adding one division, no big deal, but then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 divisions later, you're like, man, do all shows have to go to a 2-day format? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just wondering how far it goes. And then secondly, basically what they're saying to me is, okay, this will be what we hope is a more natural bikini. But that's their own fault for letting bikini become a drug roulette battlefield.
Yeah, but you can't deny how damn good those girls look now. Like they've gotten better, crazier. So it's like, I can't.
But they rewarded
blame
it.
them. Yeah,
they rewarded it, because I remember when bikini used to be like, okay, this would be the natural girls.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And I remember girls that were natural and had great bodies. They're like, oh, I want to do bikini because I'm natural. Like I remember that whole era, and this was at like the pro level. There were a lot of natural girls at the pro level because it was like, oh, they had that old look.
Dude, there were state level girls that were like, I've been lifting for 3 months, back at the start, like 2009.
Yeah. Yeah. They just had the exact look they were looking for. So yeah, it's just a typical thing, like they let a division, however you want to put it, shift its focus or get out of hand or however you want to word it. And then they got to have a new division to kind of be what the other division used to be. Hey, I don't knock the business call, like Dusty said. On paper, the finances of this, get another, every single show gets another, I'm sure some girls will just enter that category instead, but then maybe there'll be another 15. Yeah, as well. But then there'll be another, 10, 15, 20 girls in every show doing the new division. So I get it. It also might be a bit of a reaction to like, there's a lot of new natural feds now. And a lot of shows might think, well, if we have this fit model division, that can kind of maybe steal some of those natty girls from other divisions. They'll have a division that they can comfortably do to a degree. So I got a little bit of that. I don't know. There's a lot of things going on with these divisions, but I don't mean to be like old school or whatever, but I coach bodybuilders, and I mean, I do have the odd girl in some of these other divisions that I help. But it's just kind of, I wasn't expecting it. I didn't think they were going to do this, drop another division on us at this point.
But there they are. Local Bikini Coach will be better.
Yeah.
So
That's wild.
that's about it. We'll see. I just, for me, I think the only thing that I dislike is for the girls who want to be bikini girls or figure girls. I still think, and I know most people will disagree with this, that you should just enter the division you want to be. Like when we started, that was something I enjoyed was, oh, you want to do a bodybuilding show? Cool.
Yeah.
Then you're doing bodybuilding because that's all there is.
Yeah.
You just show up, and it's okay to be too small for me, because I'm just a heavy jointed person. I was a light heavyweight at 5'10", and there's guys that are 5'5", right at 198, just dusting you, and it's like, well, that's part of the process. You know,
you come back, you get better,
hoping to do okay. You know, I mean, placing even seemed a little bold back then. You're like, all right, well, we'll see how this goes. I was a teenager, and that was fun. And then you see where you stand. You take a year or two, you come back. I think that we've just gotten to that point where it's back to everything wrong with the world, in my opinion, which is immediate gratification. I have a client that's a bikini girl. She did a show, and we need time to become a better bikini girl. And she's like, well, maybe I should just do this. And I'm like, no. Just keep getting better. You want to look like those girls. Let's not let off the gas just so you can say, I won my show by doing nothing.
I saw a pretty funny meme. I thought I sent it to you guys, but I just checked and I didn't. But it was these three people, and the two were side by side, and they're really excited. And the one says, I'm so excited. And the other one goes, I'm so excited too. And it was coaches and new division competitors. And then the person who was standing on the end looking irritated with like that look on her face said girls that used to do bikini 10 years ago, but were told they didn't have enough muscle.
Yeah. I saw something similar with Eminem.
And they're like, they're super irritated. They're just like,
yeah.
Yes.
So, okay. Well, what
that's
about you,
really all we
Scott?
have to say about that.
Is that all we have to say?
Yeah. Hey, I got one more question. Ron, if you wanted to, as a promoter, could you say like, oh, listen, our shows are already long enough. We are not going to have this division if you so decided.
I'm not sure at the amateur level. I think you have to offer at least all the divisions. They have options for classes. Like you can offer different classes because your shows are going to be different sizes, right? Like, like you can have a 3. Yeah, you can have a 2-weight class open, or you can have a 3-weight class open, or you can have a 5-weight class open.
Okay.
Right. So, you go to some small shows and they just have lightweight and heavyweight. And then other shows have light, middle, heavy, and then other shows have all 5 classes because they have enough entries. So there's options a promoter can choose that way. Like if you just want A and B for height, or you're going to do 3 height classes or whatever for men's physique or whatever. But I think you have to offer all the divisions that are standard.
Okay.
I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. All right.
So who is this about the better tasting food? Chef Bodybuilder 101 here.
It's Brian Daniel. So he said he's a classically trained chef, and this is over at the Facebook group for Think Big, and he just randomly threw out a post. Actually, it was Kuba and I did a segment on the latest episode with him talking about like putting love into your food, not just eating the same bland chicken and, like boiled chicken and rice for your entire prep.
Right.
And so he threw out a couple tips, and I was like, hey man, could you throw out some more to us? So I thought I'd bring this to you guys, share it here. I thought that you guys could share some tips. Obviously everybody's going into, 2025 now. How can we make our prep food, our diet food, bodybuilding food not suck? And I thought maybe some of our audience members could post some stuff in too. We could just kind of get some ideas rolling. And this is a good one. I never thought of it before, but Brian said, so like I said, as a classically trained chef, he said that so the more you process a meat, the more expensive it gets. Take a big chunk of beef, it's going to be kind of cheap. You cut it into steaks, it's going to get more expensive. You grind that up, it's going to get more expensive on top of that. So he was saying that you can save money, and I hadn't really thought about this before. What do you say here? The price goes up, get a hunk of meat, it's cheap. So if you have a KitchenAid mixer, there's a grinder attachment that you can buy to save a ton of money. You can grind up everything, like chicken breast. You can do all this stuff for, what do you say, $2.68 a pound where he lives. Trim the fat off yourself, grind it, and you're good. So that was one I hadn't thought of. And then people started commenting about like the idea of slow cookers and stuff like that. He mentioned get a liner. They make slow cooker liners.
Oh,
I've never seen
that's
those
a
before.
must.
You know what that is, huh?
What's that for?
So you don't have to clean your shit for an hour after you're done doing it.
Yeah.
Just throw
I
the
didn't know
liner
they
away and
existed.
your thing's completely clean still.
Yeah.
Oh.
You didn't know about
How
that
when
either.
you
liner
roll a
made
slow
of it?
cooker, it like dries all around the edge when you clean it
Yep.
and they get like scrub it out or soak it. Yeah, when you empty it out, you just take the whole liner, throw it away, and you're done.
What's it made out of?
It's like plasticky, but not. I don't actually know what it is, but it's like a plastic type thing. It's good for making sure to improve your chance of cancer.
Right.
But it saves you
Make sure that-
time.
You're all using Trend, just do it.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
at
If you're
all.
using
All those-
Trend, don't
all
worry about
those
the plastics.
the scary 3-letter chemicals like the BPEs or the HD4s.
If
or
you live
whatever
in the United
chemicals
States,
are.
you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been
Just
having
in
this
the
shit
air
your whole
anyways.
life.
Yeah.
Here's one more that he has. I thought this was good. So he was saying if you get anything that's mayo-based sauce-wise, obviously there's going to be eggs in that. There's going to be a lot of fat, involved in that. He was saying you could take cottage cheese, blend that up, and now you basically have a base for making any kind of sauce. You could take like a packet of ranch and dump it in that. Or if you don't want to use that, you could just get like...
This is
I'm just
unnecessary
watching Ron's
information.
face. This is amazing.
This is
I'm only watching Ron talk more about white
Terrible.
sauces and ranch.
Or you could use Greek yogurt. And I think that's badass. It reminded me, I've got a client who couldn't eat a lot of carbs, but like after so long on a diet, we're like, let's figure out a cheat meal. Turned out he could do wings. They weren't super carby, and he would eat wings, and he would make like his own buffalo sauce or ranch sauce using Greek yogurt in one of those ranch packets, like the powdered ranch. So
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Ron loves those.
Yeah.
Big fan. Ron's a big fan.
That's fucking terrible.
He was so irritated by all
This
the
guy's
yogurt.
a chef? This guy like gives advice to people on what to eat? He sounds terrible.
Ron doesn't like
Listen.
ranch. Ron doesn't
Yeah,
like white
Ron
sauce.
doesn't like anything that's white sauce or flavorful. When he came here, I was like, where do we take Ron to eat?
I like flavor. Come on now. There's a lot of other ways to flavor your food. Yeah.
But on the topic, I agree 100%. And I think it's so funny because I'll have clients in the off season like, I'm really struggling to eat. And I was like, well, if I sent you off to eat like 3 cheeseburgers, could you do it? And they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, well, that just means your food tastes like crap. It's not that you can't eat. You don't like eating what you're eating. So take a minute and make it taste good. I think that's the big miss. When I was prepping, I remember I did the USAs one year, got done, wasn't going to do another show, come to my stores a few days later, and a kid's like, oh, you're still dieting? And I said, no. Well, you're eating the same food. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm just eating more of it because it tastes good. I didn't lose anything other than volume during preps, the amount of food I could eat. But when you make it taste good, I think that's a big loss. And I did it when I was younger. I thought that food had to taste like crap for you to be able to get lean. And it's just not the case. Use seasonings, use a lot of ranch for Ron, fake ranch of some sort.
Lots.
We'll make that for you, Ron. It'll be like a YouTube installment where Dusty and I cook for Ron.
I love that. I love that Scott didn't even realize. So as soon as you started reading, I just started watching Ron's face. I'm like, oh.
I love it. This worked better than I thought, I guess.
If anybody ever needed information out of Ron, I know how they would torture him. Eat the ranch.
I just put it under my nose. Smell the ranch.
Man, I don't know if I could do this. Dane in the comments says buy 20 to 30 pounds of chicken, and cook it all at once, then portion it out, put it in the freezer. Yes, I agree, mega time saver, but oh my God, that would be a lot of prep, 30 pounds of chicken. You know what I'm saying?
I also think anything frozen for too long, I taste that it was frozen while I'm eating it.
It's freezer
I
burned.
cook. I mean, I don't freeze. Truthfully, I don't freeze anything. We just cook enough for like 3 days, eat fast, and do it again. And then steaks, of course, are cooked every day. But
Yeah.
and 30 pounds. I mean, I guess that isn't going to go too long, anyways. I think we do about 10 pounds at a time. It's only a couple days. It's quick.
I cook chicken every 2 to 3 days, and I cook rice every 2 to 3 days, and that's about the pace we keep. And then beef is cooked when we eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rice is definitely one you can't be even leaving in the fridge too long. That becomes like, I don't know if that's what it is at that point. Open up thing. There we go.
There we go.
Ron Partlow Calorie Ranch. That could be a
love
product.
If it puts money in my pocket, I'll say I eat it.
Says the guy who never released Ron's meat. Anyways,
Yeah.
Release Ron's meat.
Release
exactly.
Yes.
No one wants that.
All right. So what do we got here?
We got a bunch of things that are coming up in the stream here. Have you guys ever used a transformer bar? What are your thoughts on transformer bar?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, I have one. Have you used a transformer bar, Ron?
I don't know what that is.
It's a kabuki strength bar.
Oh yeah, and very adjustable, right? Everything on it is totally adjustable. Yeah. I front squatted. Well, not front squatted, but safety bar squatted, like yoke bar squatted with one.
Yeah, it's like a safety bar, Dusty. And when the arms like go out and go down, and then the pegs load, you can turn them you can turn the pegs so they're out in front of you versus just parallel, or you can pull them behind you. So it changes it's a fun way to change where the weight is coming down. Like you can push the weight way out in front of you, and it feels like a front squat. And it's kind of cool. It's different. I got it because I just wanted to mess around with, have an option. Plus, I like the idea of the safety bar squat. It looks cool.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I've used one before. I don't know where I had it set. I had it set to kind of feel like a normal safety bar. So it was good when I used it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun for the price. I mean, they're like $800, and I got mine like right when I ordered it, right when everything shut down in 2020. And it took like 9 months to come to my house because they were like, oh, well, now we have to make them, and it's hard to source the materials and all that. I don't think you have to wait anymore. So I've seen them in a couple of commercial gyms. It'd be, especially the power lifters like them a lot. But there's some bodybuilding applications. I first saw John Meadows use one. That's where I got the idea. I saw John using one, and it was cool. It was a nice bar. What about trap bar deadlifts for hypertrophy?
I never did them. Trap bar deadlifts always felt like kind of wide grip to me. You know what I mean? Like they got that sort of wide grip, like awkward feeling. And I never really like did them enough to like get used to them or anything like that. I see a lot of people at the gym doing trap bar deadlifts. Like it's like very common to see our trap bar getting used for that. But I never really did that.
I've always felt like, and it could be just my view, but people did trap bar deadlifts rather than learning how to deadlift. Because deadlifting is more awkward to figure out with your shins in the way and your knees and all that. Versus that, it's like squat down, step. I mean, essentially you could tell somebody, do you know how to squat? Yeah. Okay. Grab these handles. Now you're starting your squat from the ground. All right, pull up.
You know it's more of a squat than a regular deadlift is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like the fact that because some people have seen, like power lifters have seen my deadlift videos, and they're like, if we adjusted these, you'd get much stronger. And I like deadlifting a certain way because I'm purposely trying to hit my back. So I'm actually pulling not with just the goal of pulling as much weight as humanly possible. So wouldn't be my favorite. But when I was a kid and I was obsessed with traps, I used it all the time. It was like a deadlift, and then I would do a shrug, Haven't done any shrugs since then, 1999.
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Dr. Marv said that he grinds up 80 to 90 pounds of top round roast at a time. That's a lot of.
Well,
It's
sounds
like
good to
a.
me.
It's like a small human, literally, 90 pounds.
Yeah.
It's it's a lot of meat.
Yeah.
What's going on over there? Oh, just grinding up 100 pounds of meat. Don't mind.
It's beef. It's
How
beef,
long does
I
that
swear.
last? I
Yeah,
need
I
answers
wonder.
here. Respond, please.
Yeah.
How long
How
does
long
that
does it
last?
take Marv? How long
Yeah.
does it take Marv to eat that?
Are you on a primary red meat diet? What's going on here?
Would you rather eat tuna or salmon only? It's all you get, tuna or salmon.
Salmon.
Tuna.
Ooh.
I don't like
got a
salmon.
Little battle here.
I don't like salmon.
No, we know that, Ron. We know that.
So I was thinking, I'm assuming we're talking about like tuna, like fish of the sea, or are we talking like tuna, like sushi tuna?
White
Curious.
albacore tuna.
Oh my God, salmon times 6. Yeah.
Yeah?
Remember, I told you my first prep, I ate 2 cans of tuna every 2 hours. I don't want to eat that shit.
Yeah, well, I don't eat tuna anymore either. But I just know that like I've like I don't know how long ago it was, but we went to a restaurant and it was like not our usual place, and I thought I'm gonna get that cedar plank salmon. They make it sound so good. I never order salmon. Ordered it. I was one bite in. I'm like, oh, I should have got the steak. What was I thinking?
Should always get the steak.
I know. We were at a weird. The steak looked kind of small, so I was like, I'm gonna go with the salmon. And I just like I don't know. I've tried to eat salmon a bunch of times. Emily likes
Remember that
it.
time that Dorian Yates tried to make you eat salmon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dorian tried to give me salmon as an
Not even
just
Dorian
doesn't eat
can
it.
eat
Yeah.
salmon.
Not even Dorian can get me to. I don't hate salmon. I'm just like, it's like, yeah.
Salmon
I'm an
to me would
aversion.
be what I eat after I'm done with the steak, because it doesn't like fill you up. So if somebody's like, "Oh, do you want this salmon?" I'm like, sure, I'll eat it. Toss it on.
I guess if that's all we get, is that part of the question? That's all we get, tuna or salmon?
I guess, yeah.
Well, I mean, salmon's got a lot more fat in it, so I guess I'd make myself eat the salmon so I could get some other nutrients. But yeah,
Valid.
plus I don't want to get fucking mercury poisoning like some people.
Ooh, yeah, there's that.
Eat enough tuna.
Yeah. If it's all you're eating, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Grayson,
What
you
about this
don't
one?
love my Insta food pics. You like with a background of my Insta food pics, and that's the plan. It's all about laying the perfect background in your photos, ladies and gentlemen.
Dusty.
It says,
Go ahead, little Mike.
Ron, Dusty. Bryce says, any good stories involving Christmas gifts? And then he says, breakages, tantrums, fighting to buy the last one. So, he's talking about like the pandemonium of, fighting other people for Christmas
Back in
gifts.
the day,
Yeah, before Amazon and stuff.
I never participated. The idea of it's always been math to me. Like my dogs are pissed about it too.
It's always been
That's the
master
story.
Dusty.
Like no, because I don't want to wake up at spend 7 hours waiting in a line. I just do the math on what that would cost me if I was working. I'm like, oh, well, that was a waste of time. 1 second.
Yeah, same with Black Friday deals. That store has 75 TVs. They're all going to be amazing. Whoever gets them first gets to take them home.
I've never done the Black Friday sale, Boxing Day sale, frantic go to the store thing. I've never done it. I usually don't even shop that day. I just don't take part in anything that's chaotic. I've noticed that I have a huge aversion to chaos. And it's not just in my older years, but I think I always kind of had it. I was the type of guy where, if things are getting a little too loud and crazy around, I just walk away.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm just going to go over here. I'm that guy. I'll disappear from if we're all at a party and it's getting like really out of hand, and I just vanish. I'll be like, where's Ron? I don't know. He's gone. Irish goodbye.
I've
I'm
witnessed
okay.
some of that stuff. Like, working for 7 Up, I would have to go to the stores and work on these holidays. And some of the stores that sold groceries also had, home goods and stuff too. So the grocery department might not be that busy on a Black Friday, but the other side of the store, oh, they're having all sorts of deals on like cookware and microwaves and clothes and everything else. And I'd have to be there. And you could just feel the energy was different. The energy is different on the road. The energy is different in the stores. And everybody's like just out for their own. I told you guys one time, so this wasn't really related to the shopping aspect, but it was that funky Black Friday energy. Some guy got on the PA system, just like some guy who didn't work at the store. So I'm just standing there doing my thing, and all of a sudden you hear this guy jump on the mic, and he goes, "The man in the purple jacket, go back to the bathroom and wash your mother effing hands, you dirty son of a," and then hangs up really quick. Everybody just kind of looked at themselves and were like, "Oh my God."
Don't shake that guy's hand.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Back that move.
Yeah.
Back.
Everybody's looking around for purple jackets at that point, because that's
Yeah,
not a
exactly.
common jacket
Oh,
color. You know
God.
what I mean? There's
Yeah,
one guy
yeah,
in the
yeah,
store with
yeah.
the purple jacket.
Fuck.
We know who it was. Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, no, but the answer to the question, no, don't have any of those because we're all in the same place. I've never been.
Yeah.
Never been. What else we got?
All right. We frequently hear about people struggling to eat enough. Do you all ever have clients that are always hungry? I feel like I'm dieting year round and I'm never satisfied with the amount.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, some people can eat, man. Some people can eat a lot more. I mean, obviously the scale matters. Like, is the scale already moving and all that sort of stuff, right? Because you don't just want to like pile on body fat. But sometimes you just keep upping the food, upping the food, upping the food, upping the food. And like some people, it's hard to move the scale. Like, it's unbelievable how many calories some guys can burn through, And some people, you throw those logs on the fire and the fire just burns hotter.
I was gonna say, I think his stance is he wants to eat more than he's supposed to, and I have a lot of those where they're like, "I'm hungry." I'm like, "I don't care," because they're gaining 1.5 pounds a week, and I'm thinking, if I give you any more food, we're just gonna get fat. And you have to tell them, like, I'm not ignoring the words you're saying. I'm just telling you I can't feed you anymore.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, you've got the people on the other end of the spectrum, like, I know you're eating 8,000 calories a day, but somehow you're burning 8,100.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes the math doesn't make sense. And,
Yeah.
and it's different from year to year. Like, I had off seasons where I ate a rather reasonable amount and I got to 320. And then there's years where, like, to get to that weight, I just couldn't believe what I had to eat. And, there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
We're not
Scott,
normal people, Scott.
You would know this, but Tommy's diets used to look like my off season. Like
His
the amount
contest
of
prep
food
diets
that he had to eat just to lean down without losing size. I'm like, and then his off season, I just felt bad for him.
Yeah.
Like it's so much food and it's how much he needs. You're just like, sometimes I'd read it and then I'd look back and I'm like, is that right? I have you eating 350 grams of rice at a time, 5 times a day.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
I've had to eat a lot when I had a very physical job. I had to eat a lot of food, but I got to the point where I was not hungry for it. That's for sure. I just had to like keep getting it down. It was harder for me. I preferred getting into the diet phase because it was like, oh my God, now I get a break,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, so we have one about my bowling experience. So are you guys aware of 5-pin bowling? Ron, I'm sure you are.
Of course I am. It's
Yes.
a Canadian thing.
Yeah, I didn't know about it till about a year ago. Okay. So here in St. Mary's, very small town, 1930s bowling alley down the road.
Well, that's
And I was like, I can't remember when, but recently last year, I was like, we have to go. I found out it has a small ball. There's only 5 pins. And this place has like 6-7 lanes, built in the 30s. I was like, I got to check it out. It still is, pretty old school. Like the old wood paneling is all in there, stuff, everything.
Yep.
Still, it was cool, man. So that was my first experience. I loved it. Now that I did it once, I want to go back. It's a different game, that's for sure. That's all I can really say about it. It's a little different. Getting the spin on the ball is a different thing,
Yeah. Make sure you don't tear a bicep bowling.
Oh yeah,
There's a long list of bodybuilders that have hurt their biceps, either up in the shoulder or down in the elbow bowling. There's something about snapping that ball. I know bowling overhand and giving it some spin really takes a lot off the bicep tendon. When you bowl palm up, that's when your bicep tendon really kind of gets the load. But yeah, be careful. I just cringe because I can't believe the number of people I know that have torn biceps bowling. It's like dozens of bodybuilders. It's crazy.
It's a harder sport than people want to give it credit for. That's what that is.
Well, it's because a bodybuilder gets in there and he thinks, oh, I'm going to really haul off on this one and really give it some pop and smash those pins. And next thing you know, he's like, what did I do to my arm?
Matt tore his bicep bowling with me.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. That was terrible. He tore his bicep when we were bowling. And then before he went in for his appointment, two of his dogs got into it and separating him, he tore the other one.
Ooh.
Both biceps at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I remember the picture you sent me a mat with both his arms.
Yeah.
After surgery, he had both attached at the same time.
Wow.
And then later on in life, he decided it'd be fun to do both quad tendons at the same time too.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he's done it all. So yeah, he's definitely done it all. But yeah, the bowling one, I was thinking, listen, dude, there's better ways to get out for losing to me at bowling. But how he chose to roll, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. How about this one from John? He says, when going to a new restaurant, do you guys look at what other people order and try to match it to the menu to see if the amount of food is enough for you?
This is what I was just talking about when I said I was at that restaurant and the steak looked small because I was looking at other people's plates. Yeah. And I'm like, that steak looks kind of small and the salmon looked big. So I ordered the salmon and I regretted it. Yeah. I do that all the time when we're walking in, especially if it's a restaurant I don't know, right? If it's like a new restaurant, I'm looking at plates as we walk to our table. I'm like, what's that? What's that? What's that? And then you see some giant, ribeye with a big pile of potatoes. You're like, okay, the steak is for real at this place. Okay. And you want to know.
I
is that glance, a flatbread?
But,
what is that?
But I always I'll ask the waitress, how many ounces is that? And if they don't know, I'm like, give me one of these, lady. Is it this?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you just make sure to order, and always order an extra anyways, because it's a new place. You want to know how good it. So you need the marg pizza to see how it is. You need the steak and fries. Obviously, you want to get a side of, rice. Fine, but you need a little edge. Big thing for me. If they have like a rack of ribs, appetizer. Bomb that shit to me early. Let's go.
Right. I had a great server at a restaurant in Ontario when I went to shoot a Mutant on a Mission just a little while ago. And after we shot, they said, oh, let's go up the road. We'll eat at this place. They got a great menu, lots of food on there. So I ordered the chicken parm. But then I also said, oh, why don't you bring me an appetizer? And I ordered something. I said, bring me that first. And the waiter looked at me and he goes, that chicken parm is fucking huge. He said that to me. He goes,
I love the way he said it.
He just goes, it's fucking huge. He's like, I don't know if you need an appetizer. Like, he dismissed my appetizer.
That's his like,
kidding.
And I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. And he's like, yeah, just the chicken parm's enough. Trust me. And then it came and I was like, oh shit. It was like one of those dishes where you're like, they throw half of this away most of the time. I bet. The pile of pasta was so huge. The chicken parm was like massive, giant, huge double breast. It was big. And I remember I had to drive a couple hours after that. And I had the pasta coma thing. I was like, oh, I need a Red Bull. I was like just dying because I ate so much. But yeah, you love a good honest server.
All right.
I love that you said Red Bull. It just proved your age. Because now they'd be saying
whatever.
Monsters or Ghost. For us, it was
probably-
Red Bull.
I would never actually buy a Red Bull. I probably bought an orange Monster.
Yeah. Here's an important one. What's the biggest animal you think you could beat in a fight? I mean, I think this is the reason we're doing the live stream today, honestly. This is an important
Small dog.
question.
This question.
Small dog. Maybe Donna.
Small dog.
You
Small
don't want
dog.
none of Donna. You want none of Donna.
I'll just like stand on a chair. You know, that's how I'd get away. Yeah.
Animals are scary. I saw an amazing video of like a reporter, and I don't want to say she was clueless, but she was blissfully unaware. And she's standing there. She's like, "Yeah, the roads are real bad tonight, John. We're getting a lot of snow on the highway." Like she's doing that typical remote.
Yeah.
And fucking mountain lion walks right past her. Like we're talking like 170-pound mountain lion.
Yeah.
Slowly walks from the bushes out behind her, walks up behind her. Cameraman doesn't notice it, right? No one says a word. She's in the middle of her remote. It walks right past her leg. Like her hand is dangling above it. And it kind of sniffs her hand and walks right out in front of her and cuts in front of her. She's like, "Oh, we got a big cat here." And then she just keeps talking. And you can see some of the people off on the side are like, "Oh." And it just walks across the road into the bush. And then the comments were just like, "That lady is living a second life now." Like that thing could have dragged her into the bush. She would have been just helpless against a giant mountain lion like that. It just seemed like it must have just eaten a big meal or something, because it didn't give a shit about her. Walked right
Not
through
scared either.
lights and cameras and everything. It was amazing footage. But yeah, you don't want to mess with anything that's like, people think they could beat a 100-pound cat. Can you imagine a 100-pound cat?
Oh, people have such confusion. I just watched a thing yesterday. A cat, like a house cat, somehow got in the enclosure of these gorillas. And this gorilla is like smashing it. First comment, "Why isn't anyone doing anything?" I'm like, "What do you propose we do?" I walk in there and become the cat? I want to go, "Lady, that thing could do that to me."
Yeah.
It's a gorilla.
Animals, man. I don't know. How big of an animal do you want to fight?
Yeah, I saw that this came up because Quentin said he thinks he could take a black bear, or at least a baby black bear. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Here's my advice to calm people down. Why don't you see what a trained police dog does to a human?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, they will tear you up. So if you think, trust me, you can't take a Malinois, you definitely can't take a bear.
Yeah, it depends what I'm carrying that day. That's my answer. Depends on what I'm carrying that day. And if it's only my 9, it's not a bear. I can't beat a bear. That's for sure. Check this out. This is that situation. Is this it, Ron? Right here? Is this the video?
I don't remember. I thought there was a car. I thought there was a car with sirens off on the side because there was like some snow on the road.
All right. Well, let's see what this is.
What is that wild beast crashing a TV reporter's live shot?
I think it's a dog. I'm not sure. But anyway, there's some sort of creature below me.
Morgan Saxton was reporting on a flooded road
I don't
south
think
of Salt Lake
this
City
doesn't seem
when
like
the
the one I
mysterious
saw.
creature appeared
No.
out
That
of
looks like a
nowhere
cougar.
and nearly brushed her leg. Social media lit up. Pretty sure.
So are mountain lions just walking past people on newscasts all the time? Is that a thing or something now, I guess? If there's more than
That could have
one?
been a cougar too, is a little smaller, but even a cougar, shit.
She didn't look hot enough to be a cougar.
Yeah.
Sorry. My bad. I didn't know what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh man, I saw a good Airbnb video. It was our host said we might see a wolf, and it was a video out the back door of the backyard of the Airbnb. There's like 10 wolves all standing in the backyard, howling at the window. Ow! And he's like, we can't really go outside right now. Looks like we're just going to stay inside. Whole pack
Listen,
of
dude, I had to
wolves.
smoke in your house. I wasn't going in the backyard.
Yeah. Giant gray wolves.
Ooh, kangaroo or black? Would you rather fight a kangaroo or a black bear?
I've seen the kangaroo fights. They know how to box.
Yeah, they do know how to box. They can mess you up, but they don't bite you and rip flesh out of your body. And
there's that.
You know when they do that jump up thing and their back legs whack you? I mean, I'd still rather fight a kangaroo.
Smack you in they'll kick you and send you flying, or they hit you with their tail too.
Yeah. But I'd still take the odds on that one. I have a fighting chance that he'll get bored. Before a black bear's bored, I'm dead. So.
Yeah. What about we had one about aceto. What kind of foods would Chris Aceto usually put on a plan? How's that go?
Wildly boring for me. We did chicken. I mean, this is like all the years. Chicken, steak, salmon, rice, potatoes, egg whites, whole eggs, oatmeal, Pop-Tarts, muffins.
Oh, muffins.
That's everything.
That was the secret.
Yes. The Muffin Man came alive at one point. Yeah, it's all really basic stuff. And Chris's whole thing was don't change what you're doing, because a lot of people would get on me because I did all my YouTube videos and they'd see me putting sauces on my food. But I had been using them all off season when we worked together. And then when we started the prep, he was like, well, just leave them. I'm manipulating the things I know are there. Right. And as long as you don't start using more of those or altering them, we're fine. Yeah. So I was doing stuff all the way up to every show I ever did. And no one ever said, oh, you could have been leaner if you didn't use that, spicy Southwest mustard.
Yeah. And hey, if there was a point where Chris was like, you know what, I got to get this guy way leaner, he could always use that as a tool. Like, hey, let's pull out the sauce. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I just made sure that he always knew what I was doing. But that was just to make it taste good, and it was never a problem. And like you said, I think it's one of those things where you use your head. I had a client just barely that was like, I'm pulling the diet soda out 2 weeks out. And I was like, you can, but you don't need to. I don't care. Your physique looks awesome. But if that makes you feel better, go ahead.
It's always the new guys that are, somewhere in between 5 weeks and 1 week out. The new guy who's never competed before, and he'll message you and say, hey, I've been using this, so should I stop using that? Or I decided, or the worst is when they start switching stuff. I changed to this. I've been using a lot of this now, this new whatever it is. Like, just don't change anything. You try to explain that just don't, whatever we're doing, just keep doing that, keep doing that all the way, because we're doing exactly what we want to do. Or they change the way they measure something. Like I'll measure in cups with rice. And they say, well, I started deciding to use grams, and the rice is actually more now. And no, just keep doing what we were always doing. Or I had one guy that started, we measured the meat after cooking, the potatoes, and he started air frying his potatoes at like 2 weeks out. Air fried potato is going to weigh a lot less. Yeah. He's like, they're a lot more filling when you air fry them for some reason, Do
you want to know more of them? I have the best potato story ever. So I was helping my mom diet, and she had potatoes on her diet, and I'm very specific. I like grams. I like to know the numbers. It's a lot more accurate. So we use grams. And I'm over at her house and we're talking, and her boyfriend's getting her lunch together. And then he sets this food in front of her, and I look at it, and I look at him, and I go, the hell is that? He goes, well, it's the 120 grams potatoes. I go, those are tater tots. He goes, well, they're potatoes. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, tater tots frozen. Yeah. I'm like, oh God. Okay. No, that's a French fry, bro.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was, fries.
It's like, oh boy, got to be more specific apparently. Potato was not enough. Would you rather lose your
right.
sight or your memories? That's a fucked up one. I like these. Would you
Oh,
rather lose your
gosh.
sight or your memories?
Oh, that's a horrible one.
I know, that's really messed up.
Do you get to have new memories starting now, or do you just never have memories? That's what I wonder.
Yeah, do you have no
Theo,
short-term memory? Like, where are my car
follow up.
keys?
Yeah,
Because that's
can
pretty
we
much
remember-
I'm already there, if that's the case. If you have no short-term memory,
Can I recognize people, or
Yeah,
do I just not
yeah.
remember what I did last week? How far back
Theo,
is
we need
it?
follow up. Answer us.
yeah.
Quick.
Do I remember if I brushed my teeth an hour ago? Like, how bad is this?
Right.
You had to write
Yeah.
everything down, but then you'd have to remember to write it down. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we're talking about like the long, because I don't want to like meet my family every day. Who the hell are you? Like,
Yeah. Who am I?
you know. All right. Because you're not answering fast enough, I'm going with you're losing long-term memories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lose memories, who cares? Yeah, I agree with that. I would lose memories if that's it, because I can make new ones and you could show me pictures and tell me about them. Oh, personal
Yeah.
memories. Yeah, fuck it. Bye. Half of mine I
Yeah.
want to forget anyways.
But you know what though, Dusty? So much of our insight as to who we are and the decisions we make are based off of the experiences we've had. I don't want to keep making the same stupid mistake again and again because I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Mickey, I'm
remember.
good. She won't let me.
Yeah. Well, then again, you can keep making mistakes, and if you don't remember them, then you just you're fine. An hour later,
Suddenly you're alone.
yeah.
I mean, it would be
Yeah.
tough. That's actually that would be a really tough one. But I think pictures would help, and people around you would help.
Yeah.
Because sight, man, when I think about those types of things, losing a single sense blows my mind.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, I can't smell anything. I'm like, I mean, in the gym that could be beneficial, but the rest of my life, I'm gonna need that. You know, no good.
They say that smell or the sense of smell is highly related to memory now.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way we've
Right.
evolved. That smell is more tied to memory than anything else. I thought that was interesting.
I've
Perfume
had some
hits. I can tell you who it was.
I've had some very interesting, like 30-year time travels by smelling a certain smell.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? You're like, holy smokes.
yeah.
I remember one time not long ago, I remembered this buddy of mine. I remembered his basement. We used to sit down in his basement and play guitar and play Nintendo. And I don't know what the smell exactly was. It's something his mom cooked maybe, but I just
Weed.
Yeah, no, it wasn't weed. No,
She
but
was
man,
weed,
I was somewhere and I smelt something and I was like, what is that smell? And I just was like, holy shit, that's my buddy's basement. It was like really crazy. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very vivid. Okay. What else we got? We got a lot of good questions. They're flying by here on
No,
the
they're-
chat.
We
I know,
do.
really.
We do.
I just randomly see something and blurt out.
Yeah. Rumor is that Aceto is coaching Lunsford.
Don't know. Haven't asked
Now
him.
that I said that, people are going to say, I heard it on a podcast. You know what I
Scott
mean?
said it.
Right.
Scott,
Yeah.
you did say it, technically. I heard you.
Because his buddy Grego is coached by him. Who knows? We can't say.
Don't know.
Not sure.
Well, Hanny told me when he was at the gym, he said, yeah, I'm done. I'm retired. I told everybody, even Lunsford, if you guys are doing the Arnold or whatever, I'm out.
Yeah.
So,
Ba, ba,
Yep.
ba.
Would you rather have sex with your first female teacher every day for the rest of your life or lose an arm?
is she still the same age as when she was my first female teacher?
Very good question. I'm taking
My
her.
first female teacher was probably only like 29 years old.
It's not a bad deal.
As I get older, it's going to become a problem, though.
yeah. It's gonna be a problem.
Mine was probably like 23, and this makes it creepy at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I remember my one teacher, Miss Condi. Ron, you're going to have to stay after class. And I was like, Miss Condi, if you keep asking me to stay after class, people are going to start saying stuff. She couldn't help but laugh. She was like,
She was not ready. She was not ready.
That's good.
I was rather advanced for 15.
That's what she said.
I was pretty lippy.
Being calm during workouts for better execution versus hyped up.
I like that topic. Cause I spent a lot of my life, really hyped up for workouts. We were heavy stim, listening to hardcore metal on the way to the gym. Like that was my thing for a long time, was like walk into the gym like ready to smash through a wall, like I was going to play a football game. Like that mentality was in me for a long time. And then it wasn't until I got older and started collecting injuries and stuff that I was like, maybe I need to walk into this with a little more precision of thought and all that sort of, that stuff kind of gets into your head when you get older, and you think maybe there's a smarter way to do this and not just the most brutal destruction of methods. And I totally get that. I feel that question. I mean, I don't train nearly as hyped up as I used to, because I'm training like totally different mindset. I'm not trying to squat 5 plates and all that stuff now, but I used to think that was like I had to be there, or I couldn't train the way I thought I had to train, and maybe it served me really well for a while. I'm not sure if it served me really well the whole time I did it, but I don't want to say it's not a great skill to have, the ability to go like, snap your fingers and go into that like flip switch type of mindset. I don't know. What's your take, Dusty? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I think I would encourage people to be that way when they're starting, because it's the only, like, I push my clients all the time to walk into the gym ready to be at the gym. Like, sit
Build
in your
ruthlessness.
car, get your stuff. Like, that way you walk in the door ready to roll. And I don't think I could do when I was younger what I do now. Like, I can literally get a text message that says, hey, send me in a, get out of school early thing real quick. I can jump on, send that email, and then bent row $495. Because I've done it so many times. It doesn't, or I can talk to a guy in the gym and show him something real quick and then walk over and do what I do. I need about 3 seconds to go, okay, what are we doing? All right, get back to that. Click that mind switch, roll. I'll tease Nikki all the time when she films me, because I'll hand her my phone and she can see what I'm listening to. And it's always the least hardcore thing you've ever thought of. It's just because I'm like, this is what I felt like listening to today. It has it does no bearing to the training, but I think there's no way I could have done that when I was younger. I would have been distracted, and then when I'm going to train, I'm yawning. You know what I mean? So I think that for most people, it's a skill you learn, is to be able to flip that switch on and off, and you also learn to pace it down. I mean, when I first started, and I know you guys can say this too, I used to have to pace between sets. I was so amped. I would like get done and I'm walking around. Yeah, and then I got a little more experience, and I'm like, that is a waste of energy. Like, when you're not touching the bar, just melt. Let yourself rest. And then 20 seconds before, and Ron, because you tease me all the time, but that was why I have such a routine with like wrist reps. As I'm putting them on, I'm putting my mind back. Okay, here's what we're doing. And then when we're not doing that, we're joking with the camera crew and having fun. But that just gives me that 10 seconds, 5 seconds to like, all right, time to work. And then once you put the hands on the bar, you're ready to go. So what do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I'm with you guys 100%. I remember being amped up in the car, like amped up to the point in the car where, like, if traffic was really heavy, I'd be like, I don't think I can sustain this as long as it's going to take me to get to the gym before I burn out.
You're going to get like an adrenaline dump.
Yeah, but by the time I get to the gym,
in the car,
so I remember that kind of stuff. And I definitely remember some good pacing too. And now I want to stay pretty calm, because I just, with my situation where I'm at, I don't want to like have that big adrenaline dump, because I'm going to do the exact same thing I would have done training, or very close to it. and I don't want to destroy myself so that I'm just shot for the rest of the day. I like to feel, good an hour after I'm done training and be like, yeah, it was a good workout. It was a challenge. I'm good. Move on with my day, So,
Yeah.
yeah. We had some other good training stuff in here, like how long are your leg sessions? And I'd be curious to know how long were they like at your peak? I had some long leg days. I prided myself on really intense training, and I prided myself like guys that I worked with earlier on in coaching, they would come and train with me. And sometimes on Saturdays, we'd have like a big pack where it'd be like me and two other guys that were just going back to back to back. And then another set of three guys on the next machine, the other leg press, going back to back to back. So there'd just be like 6 of us there. And sometimes I'd have to tell them like, hey, shut up, stop talking. Let's focus on the training. When you get like 6 young guys all together, they all start wanting to talk between their sets. But it was fun and it was a good time. And even though there were 3 people on the machine, one person, as long as one person was always lifting, it moved pretty quick. And sometimes, man, it'd be like a 3-hour leg workout. It was a lot of like long, high volume stuff back then. And I really enjoyed it. You would walk out of there feeling utterly drained, like just everything you had in you physically and like any mental stuff going on, fight with your girlfriend. It was just like you couldn't have any more energy to care. It was a good time. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. 2-hour leg days were like, that was a long, like full warm up, full like 10-minute break between quads and hams, lots and lots of, getting ready for each set. And then of course, like the sets were off the chart, top intensity. But I think most of the time, 90 minutes was kind of what I kept my leg workouts to. Now I'd say everything all in, like usually an hour 15 is usually enough time for me to hit legs for the way I train now. Train a little faster and like all that stuff,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I was the same. When the volume when I was really young was way too high. So the workouts, because it was really just like, what have we not done? And then we would do that also. But at the point when I actually got good at what I'd say I was better at bodybuilding, my workouts were always 2 hours because it just took that long for me trying to get, especially with legs because it was a stronger body part. To get, if you're squatting and you were doing sets with 6 plates, I would do a warm up with 1, with 2, with 3, with 4, with 5. So there's 5 warm ups on squats alone.
Yeah.
Then a long break before my working set. So I think in hindsight, I would have sped up my workouts a little bit. The time between working sets were longer than they needed to be. Now I see that you're like, oh, I could have cut, easily a minute, 90 seconds off in that break. And it would not have cost me. If anything, if I'd have lost a rep, I'd have gained something else. It wouldn't have mattered. So too much time not training, I'll say.
How about this one? Is it possible to win a regional show naturally from the real report?
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen it
Depending
happen.
on who you are.
Yeah, obviously. I've seen guys that were natty win untested regional shows, but their obviously their genetics were off the charts.
Scott, I just sent you a picture
On
real
text.
quick for this question, and there you have it.
All right. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. I'll bring it up when it comes through on my end.
Okay.
Sometimes
So
my
that-
computer is a little bit slower.
So this, the guy I just sent, Scott, is actually Tommy's training partner, and he is 100% natural. His name online is the Brinks, but he turned pro at nationals, and he's natural.
Yeah,
So-
really. What weight
yeah.
class?
Let's see. I want to say he was a light, maybe
Okay.
but he's sliced, has crazy shape. And it was funny. And my favorite part about it is he gets done with the show and he puts up a story and he says, "Hey, I'll let everybody know how this goes, how it went, but I'm going to spend some time with friends and family." And it's all blurry for whatever reason, but yeah, that's what you look like with great genetics if you're natural and you train your face off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's also like low 20s. Look at his arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great separation.
That's
He looks
100%
good.
natural, and he could absolutely win an overall at a regional show. I think he took second, based on the photo, to get his pro card. But I mean, dude, you turned pro untested. That's absurd.
Yeah. 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 People have a hard time believing it sometimes, I mean, we've heard the stories about some of our favorite guys, like Ronnie, or Kai
Kai.
Green, guys like that probably didn't touch stuff for a really, really long time, so.
So here's a topic I think we should touch that I think is interesting. I had this conversation with a client. It kind of struck me. He was asking me what I first ever took and what kind of gains I saw in my first cycle. And I think I've told you guys I was taking an amp a week for 10 weeks of Primo. And I put on 28 pounds. And his thought was, if you don't see that kind of reaction from a low dose cycle, is pro bodybuilding for you?
Right.
And I thought that was an interesting question, because I do see guys that like they run their first cycle and they put on like 4 pounds, and you're like, well, I mean, you put on 4 pounds, so it's probably real, but that's not a lot,
Yeah. I think that responsiveness to drugs is, it's a massive element of being a top pro. I mean, I still hear from the odd guy that's like, you can tell by the way they talk that they have plans on being a pro bodybuilder. Like I hear guys say that still, and I'm not talking about guys that are like winning their class at nationals. I'm talking like guys that are just getting into competing, and they have plans of being a pro bodybuilder. And it's like, if you're not a bit of a hyper responder, you're up against an extra, like there's the genetic battle with like shape and structure and all that. But then there's like that hyper responder thing, man. And when they got the shape and structure and they blow up, man, that's a hard, you're in a tough
combo.
bar fight. Yeah.
And they're willing to work hard,
And they're willing to work hard, they take some Primo and put on 20 pounds, and, they do a bit of D-ball and they're benching 4 plates for 10. And that's like, I've seen that before. And you're like, I know where if this guy keeps applying himself like this, I know where this goes.
Well, it's like, if you guys remember when Kai won the best poser at that Keystone Sean Ray's show, he looked awesome. And there was rumor that he was natural, which he wasn't as big as the other guys, but I mean, he was too big to be natural in my head.
Right.
And then he went on, and his next show, he was 40 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, he was natural. He was,
he went from
40
like 225 to 265 on stage.
Yeah. And I mean, and leaner than he was at that. I mean, it was just absurd. And that was even as long as I had been around, that was an aha for me. It's like, there are levels. And that's why when I hear the stories of Ronnie, I believe it. I'm like, nope, he was natural. Because again, as soon as he went, it wasn't enough. It's not like when you bump the dose and you blow up. Like, anyone who's ever had their first time, the jump is ridiculous. Everything about it is ridiculous. I remember when it hit and my strength shot up, and I was like, this stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
I remember the set, what I was doing, because I just remember thinking, I see why people don't want to stop doing this. I'm not human.
Right.
This is obscene.
Yeah.
So wild. You got anything else?
Josh says, no, Derek is with AJ, Cement Factory, AJ Sims. Which I think that'd be a good combo. AJ Sims gets people absolutely freaking peeled. I think he's a really good coach. I'd think that Derek would have a good chance of, if he's going to come back and win it again, I can see that being a winning combo. What do you guys think of this one? Another important question, possibly the reason that we did this live stream. Would you rather vomit on your hero or have your hero vomit on you?
I don't want vomit on me. I will vomit all over my heroes.
I'll vomit on other people all day long.
He won't. He wouldn't have remembered me before, but now he will.
That's true. Either way,
I'll leave an impression.
I don't care who's getting vomited on. He's gonna remember you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's that.
Not in a good way, but he'll remember. Yeah.
Oh, we had a follow-up too about what was it? A house? Would you rather fight a house cat or a rooster? I don't know how roosters fight, but I would not want to mess with a house cat. I don't care if it's only 8 pounds. Those things have like 20 razor blades on their hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Roosters are pretty vicious with the feet. They can really cut you up. If a rooster wants to do some damage to your hands and arms, he can really get at you. But all it takes is one squeeze of the neck.
Just say, I don't want to hurt a cat. That's the thing. Is like, it's a house animal. So to me, I'm like, no. I don't
you could cook the rooster. You could cook, when you're done.
And I've got a lot of practice choking a chicken. No one can choke a chicken like me.
Ethan's with us. Ethan has been doing some timestamps when I get things uploaded early. So thank you very much for your help, Ethan. And he says, what would be the muscle group you choose to train on Christmas Day?
I used to always do legs on Christmas Day. I used to always do that. And one of the reasons I did that was because growing up, the gym was closed Christmas Day. But a friend of mine and I had keys because we worked at the gym.
Nice.
So we had a little tradition ever since I was in high school where I'd meet my buddy at the gym on Christmas Day, and we'd just have the gym to ourselves, and we'd train legs because we were hardcore. And then as I got older, I kept it up because then when I started going to visit my family for Christmas, the guy that owned that local gym was a really good friend of mine, and he would do legs with me on Christmas Day. We'd unlock the gym and go in and do leg day on Christmas Day. So I just kept this thing going where I would do legs on Christmas Day. And I did that for a long time, and it was like really cool. It was one of my favorite Christmas traditions was to do legs on Christmas Day in a closed gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, now I don't do that as much. We have the gym open now on Christmas Day for 4 hours. We're always open on Christmas Day, and it's a lot of fun at West Coast. But I might do arms on Christmas Day now. But it used to be leg day on Christmas Day. That was a big deal. You got to make room for all that food.
The food? Yeah, exactly.
Have like a pretty normal breakfast. Don't do anything crazy. Get a huge, crazy leg day out of the way. Just destroy yourself. And then you can do a whole box of turtles after. You can just plow through everything. You don't have to worry about nothing.
Plus, think about the nap, the post-food coma.
Oh,
between the leg day and the food, you're done.
And if you've done legs, just think of how little rage you have left for your family.
Oh, especially this year.
Drained.
You're pretty calm then.
Rage.
Yeah.
Calm.
We went to a family thing with Victoria's family yesterday where it was going to be like an event that had a schedule. At 3 o'clock we're doing this. At 4 o'clock we're doing this. 4:45 this. So I knew it was going to be a long day, and I had a couple hours. Yeah. I had a couple hours in the morning. Yeah, they had a lot of people. There must have been like 40 people there. Oh, big family. They all have
like
the
each
dark
other?
Eyebrows. They do. And they all have the dark eyebrows too. All of them.
Yeah.
You can tell the Felkers. You can. But I went up to the YMCA and I hit a hard workout.
Snuck away.
Yeah. Beforehand, in order to tether myself, kind of like a little, lobotomy is not the right word, but keep me kind of
I know. A little tune-up.
A little tune-up before the day,
You're the American, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're the American, like to them.
Oh, I am. Yeah. We got a little politics talk with one of
That's
the
ballsy.
with one of the
How'd that
cousins.
go?
No, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Yeah, we were on the same page. Cop who we felt a lot of the same ways on things.
Dropped a couple of code words for being on the same page.
Yeah.
Right. You used the words. You used the. Did you drop the term Second Amendment at all? And then just
No, I didn't have to. He knew.
Yeah.
He follows me on Instagram. He didn't.
Okay. Was there any of this where you're sitting beside him at the thing and you're showing him your phone? You're going, it's Bulgarian.
No, but her uncles are pretty cool. Her uncles know all. They want to always.
Mag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There actually was some of that going on. Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Born at the family Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Bulgarian.
Stuff.
Yeah.
There's another
Actually better than the Russian one.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that happened. I can feel that conversation.
Yeah.
Dane was hitting us with all sorts of would you rathers here. This one wasn't as good, I don't think, so we'll hit this one and then I'll find the other one. Would you rather train legs at Planet Fitness or shoulders at a hotel gym? And I'll find the other one while you guys answer that.
That's actually a solid one.
That's pretty solid. Shoulders is one of my hotel gym go-tos.
Yeah, because you can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
I can do it. You got a cable stack. I can do side, front, rear delt all day long.
Yeah. Or some dumbbells, light dumbbells,
Yeah.
Light dumbbells, superset something. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I would rather do the Planet Fitness.
Leg day Planet Fitness.
It would be because you got to remember, first off, and you know this, Ron. Well, you may not know this. A lot of the Planet Fitnesses have started adding equipment now. They have hack squats.
Oh,
they're
really?
starting. I think that a lot of the Planet Fit, they're realizing they need to alter their situation a little, their business model. Because I have a client started sending me like they brought in some equipment now, and I know this from gym owners. Planet Fitness rolls through their equipment a lot, and no one really uses it, so it's in great shape.
Yeah.
So if
anything you can buy from Planet Fitness is
leg day, it will be mint equipment.
You can go be the first one to bend their leg extension.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember where did we do that photo shoot for Mutant in the guy that sells the equipment in LA? What was the name of that?
Global Fitness.
Yeah. So he had a bunch of their stuff in, and he said he showed me, you could see that the pin had never made it past like the 80.
Yeah.
Literally see there was no marks below it.
Yeah.
I mean,
when we opened, we got a bunch of used treadmills when we opened, and they were out of a Planet Fitness. So he just swapped the purple plastic for gray plastic and sent us the treadmills.
Yeah.
And like they ran, I mean, we ran them all into the ground before we bought our new cardio, but they ran like nonstop for a long time because they were practically brand new. Like people just walk on those things, right?
Yeah.
So,
but I think I would do the challenge in reverse though. I would go in there completely covered up, trying my best to have the most intense workout without getting thrown out. So I'd be trying not to make any noise, but also seeing if there was just an amount of weight that would get me thrown out or how it would work out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Don't
Like,
allow 8 plates. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't know. I mean, if you were perfectly silent, if you're covered up, if they said, oh, we don't do bodybuilding, I'm like, oh, good news. I'm just on a podcast.
Good news. I'm just fat. Just stay covered. I'm just fat. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm a bricklayer.
I'm playing hockey now. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I could be a little Happy Gilmore action. I'm a hockey player here, just playing golf today.
I wonder if they do what some gyms used to do. I know Precor used to have it as an option, but you could order a hack squat, but it only held 4 plates.
I think they do. Yeah.
So you can do that. You can do that if you want. You can order the shorter arms if you want. They have that.
And I'm pretty sure that's what I've seen. I'd gone to a couple Planet Fitnesses in my day, and the hammer strength machines had the shorter arms on them. You couldn't load but like 2 plates, I think, on it.
But think about it from a business standpoint. Like, like you guys, we talked about before, like for most people, that's plenty.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, who knows? Yeah. Planet Fitness for me. Christmas Day. Let's get tossed.
All right. I found that other important question. Would you rather have skin that changes colors based on your emotions, or have tattoos appear all over your body that depict what you did yesterday.
Change color.
No way. I want people to know.
My business is my business.
Dude, your business would be all over the place. You know, he's at West Coast Iron and somebody comes up and says something stupid and his skin color changes and they immediately know. My face
okay with
already
that.
does that. when
Yeah,
people say
I already have alerts that go off all over the place with me. I can't help it.
Oh, I'm doing the tattoos though. That would be so much fun, especially at like a family event if you don't like people.
Yeah.
I'd just be like this. I just reach up my arm a little bit, trying to let them see something I did yesterday. Move it forward.
Yeah, where do they show up? You know,
Oh yeah.
there's a tattoo of you just like doing something horrible on your neck.
Exactly. That's
Would you
great.
go no sex for a year
No.
in exchange for $15,000?
No.
No,
I wouldn't do it for a
Kidding?
month for 15 grand.
And an Applebee's gift
yeah.
That number's got to be like,
How? Let's find a number that works. How about
and let's
How
also
about a
decide
month?
what sex means.
okay?
card.
How about a
Long
month?
year.
How about a month
I'd
for
go-
150 grand?
I'll do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
in.
could do that.
Yeah.
I'd be.
It's a
in.
long month, but
It's a long month, but 150 grand is a very good piece of money to invest.
yeah, you could redirect your thoughts on what you're going to do with the money. There's
Oh
that.
yeah,
You can only do that
Put it
for
on-
so
put it
long.
on
I
hookers.
think.
yeah. Just think with the wealth I build from it. To get
Yeah.
Did you really just
highest-
spend your 150 grand on hookers? God damn it.
Yeah, you get the highest end escorts. That's what I was gonna say.
At the end of the month.
Yeah.
I tricked you, buddy.
So I'm gonna set 10% aside for hookers, and I'm gonna invest the rest. Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a good one.
That's a great one.
I would do that.
Hey, I had one more thing. Ron, Dusty, I think, did you share that with us? JP, that post he made
I shared
on Instagram. You shared that, Ron. That was a really good post, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was, man. Just because, like, I felt that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
And
Let me
and
see if I can find that too.
yeah, I felt that one, and it had to do with. I won't read the whole thing, but JP said essentially, this is quoting JP. I have no skin in this game, so this is coming from a genuine place of trying to help. I don't coach at all anymore, but I watch and hear a lot, and the coaching game right now is by far one of the scummiest out there. It now seems that a legit tactic to gather clients is just to try to get in people's heads and plant seeds that their coach is wrong. If that is your tactic, or if you feel the need to do this, you are just not good enough yourself. You need to strive to be better than that. He says a bunch of other stuff, but he says, instead of doing that nonsense, how about you try to learn, travel to seminars, gather more information, get better at coaching, and then you don't have to play those silly games because you're literally too smart to care. And I thought that was great. I see this all the time. I hear people say it all the time, and they don't even realize that that's what's been done to them. They'll be like, yeah, I did a show with this guy and I looked really great. Like I was super happy, but I was talking to this other coach and he was telling me like, I could have been a little fuller. And, he thought that, maybe if I had like, someone pay a little more attention to me, maybe I could be a little sharper. So I thought that, I better give them a try, like that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, so another coach came in and like talked you into changing coaches, even though you just said that you were really happy with all the gains you made with your other coach. And I see it all the time. It happens to people all the time. People do it constantly. And I know a lot of the coaches that do that stuff, and we all know who they are. We've all had conversations about several of them that build their businesses on that. There used to be famous stories about certain coaches where we used to call them gene farmers, and they would go backstage. We go backstage at the USA's or backstage at the Nationals, and they would give their card to the top 3 in each class.
Yeah.
They wouldn't give their card to 5th place or 8th place. They would just give their card to the top 3, and they would say stuff like, "Hey, here, why don't you just take my card in case you ever need anything? I know you work with, whatever, insert whatever Coach Dave was, say Dave.
Yeah.
Say, I know you work with Dave. You looked great. You looked really good, but, if you ever need anything, like, I think you could have been a bit fuller, and, you're a little flat when you came on stage. You look good posing though, but, if you ever need anything, give me a call." And they plant a bunch of those seeds in a bunch of the top 3 in each class. And then they just sit back and they wait for some of those seeds to sprout. And that's the clients they harvest for the next show. And it's not new. It's one of the scummiest practices that there is. What do you guys think?
I mean, I've seen a ton of that. I've seen it work, sadly. I've also seen how well that works long play, because you take the guy who took second at the USA's and then he magically wins the North Americans 6 weeks later, and Dusty did that because he wasn't with Dusty when he took second. Neither, and the guy that took first also didn't do the next show because he won. But anyways, those things would get seen. What I think is funny about that is people really are looking for a faster way to do something that isn't fast. I found, to be honest, when I look at Aceto and the things he's done, it wasn't Cutler that made me want to hire Aceto. It was the number of guys I saw like me that were good, but probably aren't going to turn pro, and then they did. And I'm thinking, okay, because, and I was going to say this earlier, and I don't mean to downplay the greatness of some of these other coaches, but when everyone's like, who is Derek going to work with? I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Derek is Derek. And I'm not saying that there's not, a little edge here or there that could be better with certain people.
Sure.
But I'm telling you right now that a really, really good unknown coach can bring Derek into the Olympia. Now, will it be as perfectly as Hani? I don't know, but trust me, he's going to look fantastic if you bring him in. You can prep these guys. I want to know what you can do with someone who didn't get told they should be a pro bodybuilder when they're a kid.
Yeah.
What can you do with those? How many people did you turn into bodybuilders? And that's what impresses me. So that's how I ended up with Chris. And when I worked with Chris, I had a few people. I mean, I'll say it out loud. It doesn't bother me. Like George Farah threw hey, you should reach out sometime. And I'm like, why would I do that? There's nothing missing here that has anything to do with anyone but me.
Right.
So unless you can make my hip structure smaller, I don't need your phone number.
Right.
So It's too bad that a lot of people buy into that stuff. And my clients know when they send in when we start, I tell them this is month to month.
Yeah.
It's 1 month at a time. So every month that you pay, you've rehired me. I must have done my job. That's great. So I don't mind if you go elsewhere. I've had clients leave and come back. And I never even ask why, and we all know, I mean, we've have clients, each of us, that have been someone else's client on this podcast. That's fine. But I do think it's sad when it comes in a place like that, where you're like, no, nothing was missed that you can suddenly save. So if someone approaches you backstage at a show or in any other specter, I think you should just ask yourself if you like doing business with scumbags.
I have a different angle that I'm going to add, and that is, so I know exactly what you guys are talking about, and there's a whole platform of presenting yourself as smarter than everybody else. You know, if your coach is doing this, you need to fire him. Kind of like, this is what's wrong with like people who come on and their platform of, you know, everybody's an educator now, right? 15 years ago, like you didn't have like the education, you know, I'm putting my hands up in air quotes. Education is like, that's the way coaches advertise today, is through social media. They present themselves as an educator in the field of bodybuilding and fitness or whatever. And one of the platforms they use with that is to just crap on ideas. And that if you see somebody, this is my warning to people, is that if you see somebody that that the education they share is to say that these people are doing this wrong, or, you know, this guy should do this differently, or, you know, this idea is a terrible idea, and that they have the answer, you know, I just don't, I couldn't imagine building my business that way, by trying to put other people down and then climb up, you know, on their backs, basically, to build my name by making somebody else look bad. But that's, I think, the new thing. And I wonder if Jordan might be talking about that, because there are a lot of people, and I know people who've attacked him, and some of those the same people have attacked me. And I don't even play the game. So it's like, you know what? You can say what you want to say about me. That's fine. But I think that the people in general, I think people are smart enough to recognize it is at least what it's what I've experienced, because there are a handful of people out there that's the way they do business, is just their whole Instagram is just, here, I screen captured this guy saying this thing, and this is the reasons why he's wrong on every level, you know, and a terrible coach, you know, so whatever. Yeah.
Valid.
I'm sure Jordan deals with that so much too. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be training the way Jordan trains. You shouldn't do what he says. And you know what I mean? He doesn't know anything. He just takes a lot of gear. I can only imagine the crap he gets.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone has that, you know. I like to pay attention to, even as a fan, because I follow a lot of my friends and coaches, and I'll say trainers, depending on what we're getting into. And I always laugh that the people I enjoy following are also respected by other people I respect.
Bingo.
So I pay attention to that. I'm like, so I'll see a post, and then just for fun, I'm like, oh, I agree with that. And I look, and I'm like, oh, look who's commenting, or look who's liking. People who also share things, and people who I would be perfectly fine if my client said, hey, I want to try working with so-and-so. I'd be like, you're going to have a great experience.
Yeah, for sure. There's lots of great coaches out there. And some of these guys that do the poaching and the hardcore, like, client theft, the psychological manipulation of people into hiring them, some of them are also great coaches, because you can also be both. You can be really smart. You can be a scumbag and a good coach. So they're out there too. And they tend to do very, like, big numbers, because, you know, they're really good at their thing.
Pitch.
What they do. Yeah, they're really good at their pitch. Yeah, and that's fine, whatever. But just be aware, you know. I always had, I don't know why I had it. I don't know if it was my dad or my mom. I guess both of them. But I always had, like, a real bullshit detector. Like, anytime anyone talks to me about anything, the first thing I'm doing is filtering what they're saying through a bullshit detector, right? Like, what's in it for this person? What's their motivation to come to me with this and tell me this? If it's a compliment, or if it's a thing they're presenting me, or an idea they're telling me, or something they're sharing with me, I'm always like, it goes through the skeptic filter first. And with some people, that doesn't happen. They don't do that. They don't do that early. They do it, like, way later, maybe. And some people don't do it at all. Yeah. I mean, we know those people. We're like, you know, this person doesn't have your best interest in mind. They're like, really? It's like, you didn't think of that? That's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah. That old saying, not everyone that smiles at you is your friend.
Yeah.
That,
you know, but, you know, everything goes through the filter first. So I always thought that I sort of, like, caught on to stuff pretty quickly, and I would always look around and go, why are you guys listening to this guy?
Right.
He's a fucking snake oil salesman. Like, why is everyone listening to this dude? Are you guys not paying attention? This is bullshit. I was that kid. That was me. So it's no doubt, no wonder why I sort of feel this way.
Yeah.
Well, how'd we do?
I don't know. The people liked it. So, and Kane, this one's not going away. We do a lot of live recordings. He's like, oh man, I missed this, and I have alerts turned on and everything, but I don't see these all the time, and now it's going to vanish. No, this one is just a live stream, so it's going to stay here. He can watch it all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't block you for having other things to do 2 days before Christmas. We don't roll like that.
Like,
Hey, shout out to
we're
everybody at
involved.
work right now, and shout out to everybody who's got to work on Christmas too. You guys, my heart's with you. I've been there and I feel for you. Get through it and milk the clock in the next 48 hours as much as you can.
Question.
You deserve it.
Question for you guys. What's one of your favorite Christmas memories?
Ooh, I have a lot.
Share a great Christmas memory.
All right. I have a simple one, but it was really cool. So growing up, I always tell people that I had like a great upbringing. I had stuff and the bullshit and all the stuff. And one year, I really wanted a full-size punching bag, like a heavy bag. Right. And we did Christmas, and my parents bought me so much great stuff, but they didn't give me the punching bag. But I was raised well enough to know that I was very fortunate. So I was like, I kept the happiest fake happy on the whole time. And so we got done and I cleaned up and put all the wrapping paper away. And then my dad was like, hey, throw that out in the garage. And then when I came back in from the garage, just as I was walking through the door, the punching bag fell on the floor in front of me because he had waited to give it to me. And I just remember like it was a two-sided thing. I think he knew he was going to give it to me, but he was definitely playing to see how I would handle not getting it. And I mean, it was a 30-minute delay, so I definitely was not getting it. But I remember that being super exciting and a huge win. And then the more simple thing is just my mom always had huge parties. So there was tons of people that would come over. And that was how I grew up. And then once I became an adult, I never did that. So there are things I missed looking back because I'm like, we always do small Christmases now. It's just the way it is. And I look back at those memories in a good way. And I sure do like it that we don't do that shit.
Right. That's awesome.
What do you guys?
Yeah. What about you, Scott?
I remember when Victoria and I couldn't see each other. I was kind of down because we had spent so much time apart, and then the year during all of that, she came for Christmas, and she was going to stay for a month, and that was the year I proposed to her. So it's not that long ago; it's just a few years ago now. But after having been apart for so long, and then getting to spend the holiday together, I really appreciated that, and now I feel like I really appreciate this year, this experience, getting to be in this cool little, tiny Ontario town for the year. To me, I'm already putting these things away as memories because I know that I'll look back at this and be like, oh, that was a cool time. We got to go spend the week out there, and it snowed, and we went bowling, and we hung out with your sister and her fiance, and so I'm more happy now with Christmas than even when I was a kid. I used to get a lot of just anxiety with having to do all sorts of things and stuff like that. Right. And I like to just go with the flow now. And I can't say anything that was super old that made me happy, but the last several years have all been freaking awesome, and I'm really grateful for them.
That's great.
And I had a good upbringing, so it's not like I had terrible memories as a kid. We had great times. I love spending time with my family and all of that. But yeah, just that we have to go see the aunt, and then we're going to this family, and I was self-conscious and anxiety and all that. And now I'm just hey, let's hang out and talk and eat some good food and go get a workout in, stuff like that.
I was a lucky kid too. We had great Christmases. My mom was a crazy cook, unbelievable, farm cook, right? But one of my favorite Christmas memories is that era I would have been like, 11 years old, 12 years old, that sort of era where Christmas it was like the Nintendo era.
Oh, I remember
So
that.
like, I remember one Christmas, I would have been 12. I remember I got like a Guns N' Roses album and Nintendo games, right? And so I was downstairs in the basement playing Nintendo, listening to my new albums because I got a couple cassettes in my stocking. So I'm listening to like Motley Crue and that sort of stuff and playing Nintendo, early Nintendo, like the first one, playing Zelda and, whatever else you play on early Nintendo. But that whole era and just all the food in the house and just ridiculous dinners and everyone coming over and just, I was lucky to have that type of Christmas. But yeah, that was just, there's a smell that I wish I could smell again. You know what I mean?
That's a good memory right there. I like Chris's.
Yeah, Chris's is good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There you go.
Newborn daughter. A lot of stuff to come there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, every year will be exciting after that.
Yeah, you gotta decide.
2 years. I remember. You know what Santa is.
I remember one year, my dad played a joke on my mom. We're opening presents, and she opens her present, and he got her this really nice axe. And I remember none of us knew what was going on. We're like, "Oh, you got mom an axe?" And he's like, "Yeah, you've been wanting to get rid of that one tree in the corner of the yard, and it's not that big of a tree, so I figure, you used to chop wood, like my mom was like a tough farm wife, right? So she like could chop wood. He's like, she was a real small woman, but she was tough. And he's like, yeah, so I got you a shiny new axe and I remember everyone was just kind of like, oh, that's a weird present, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then cleaning up. We're like cleaning up, and I was young enough to not notice that my mom was kind of quiet, but I didn't notice. And then finally, he brought down a set of golf clubs, and he's like, "Here's the actual present." And I remember she was laughing her ass off. She like slapped him on the chest. She's like, "You asshole!" She's like,
"That's amazing."
I thought that was all you got me was an axe. It was just. But that was the type of thing my dad would do.
I don't have the guts to go for a move like that, dude. There's no way.
Yeah, and then drag it out for 30 whole minutes.
Right? Right? That's a long 30 minutes.
You gave her a weapon and then drug it out. That's a ballsy move.
Hey, I'll tell you what, guys. So Santa came to the Christmas party yesterday, and I didn't expect that to be so cool. Like I don't want kids in my own life. I'm not like one of those people who's like, oh, there's the nephews, let's go play with them, but kids are cool and all that. And when Santa came in, oh my God, these kids lit up. There were kids that were like, oh my God, Santa. And they wanted to come up to him. And there were kids that were like, oh my, like they were like really nervous. Like the president walked in the door, and they're very formal with him. And then there, of course, there's like the one older, 12-year-old boy who's just like, hey, Santa, shakes his hand, cool. He knows what's up. Yeah. Yeah. But it was a highlight to me at that party to see the excitement on those kids' face, because as busy as he was, Santa literally took 10 minutes to stop in and hand out some gifts. It was so cool.
That's a big deal. Beach this close to Christmas. Ooh.
Tight schedule and all,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I hope you guys have a good one. We're looking forward to ours. And like I said, I got to go battle the normies at the mall here.
Oh, God.
Go pick
sorry.
up a few things. You know what I mean?
Oh, enjoy it with the simpletons.
Yes. I actually ordered Emily a nice,
careful, it's live,
decently expensive present about a month ago, and then Canada Post went on strike.
Yeah, they're terrible.
And so they got forced back to work last week without getting any of the deal they wanted. So it was like a huge waste of time.
I'm sure they're happy.
Are they happy? But the backlog is so bad that I haven't gotten the present yet.
Yeah, they said you might not get it for a month or so too.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of her, her kind of main Christmas present is just not here yet. So I'm just kind of like, oh, well, fuck me.
Yeah. So Victoria's isn't here either. It's at my
Yeah.
parents' house, and I couldn't bring it with me. So I guess I'm gonna have to like
You
get a
can't
picture.
bring a Kalashnikov across the border.
Yeah, for some reason they're really weird about that.
It's Bulgarian.
That's
You know-
you really gave away what you got. Couldn't bring it across the border.
Yeah. They didn't have the
So-
paperwork for it.
So she's gonna get like a picture of her item and then get to get
Picture
it
of a
when we get home.
Kalashnikov.
Yeah. I was allowed to bring that. They let me bring that through.
Yeah.
You're lucky. They don't do that for
Okay.
everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
They told me
I
I'm allowed to bring
appreciate it.
one. I'm allowed to bring one.
Yeah. One Kalashnikov per family.
At least that's what I thought. I just put it in the trunk. They didn't ask.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I
Well,
thought
that was
we're good.
one. Maximum one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. That'd be great if that was an excuse. You just go, I'm American.
Yeah.
Right? If you could just do that at the border. I don't know.
Well, they do ask you now, and I was talking to Dave Tate about that when we were at Swiss. He was like, they asked me if I had a CPL. Like, what's your business if I have a CPL? And I know the reason they do it because a lot of people forget, and they're just like, oh yeah, I keep it in my glove box, and then they drive to Canada not thinking about it because they want to know, do you have a CPL? And if so, well, where is it? Because
So CPL is a concealed permit? Is that what that CPL?
Yeah, concealed pistol license. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's funny.
See, I figured it out. I figured it out.
Dave Tate immediately though, he was like, they
What's
want you to. Yeah, he was like, what do they want to know? Are they tracking me now? He was like, he didn't want them to know if he carried.
They're actually trying to help you out, just in case you're a dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about
You
helping you out. It depends on how you define helping you out, Ron.
Well, it depends on how you answer.
Yeah,
You go, yeah, I got a CPL. Of course I do. I got my Glock right here, and I got you.
yeah.
I'd love to see a
something
hidden
to say
camera
about it?
show. Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, let's call that a live episode. Much appreciated everyone that tuned in. That was great. Thanks for your questions. I wish we could ask all of them. I had a lot of fun though. But
Likewise.
this will be a great week, and we will see you guys next week. And
Yes.
we got some cool guests lined up coming. So I'm looking forward to the new year and everything like that. And you know what I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to, I don't have cable, but I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to watch like the sports channel highlight roundups, the best plays of the year.
Yeah.
I always like that
Yeah.
stuff, because they always capture, they don't waste your time. They got the best plays from every sport. So you don't have to watch the sports that you don't like. You can just see the best plays. So I'm always big on that. Okay. Remember, like, share, subscribe, comment, and yes. Remember, IamMutant.com. Go on IamMutant.com. Order yourself something. Go on there. Get your ISO Surge. Get your all in it. Everyone should get on the gear. Use Dusty. Use Big Ron. Use those 2 codes. Get your stuff. And remember the Think Big Patreon. Keep your producer homed.
Thank you, guys.
All Scott wants for Christmas is a Patreon sign up. That's all he wants for Christmas.
I'll take that. That'd be good.
So get on there. Okay. Remember, everybody, it's just bodybuilding.